Warband's greatest mod is coming to Bannerlord, and it's a multiplayer mod. That's right, the best mod in Warband is for multiplayer, and I will spend the next 8 minutes definitively proving it. Maybe. After what felt like 2 years of neglect for multiplayer, Taleworlds in the last 3 months has finally begun to push out meaningful tests and updates for Bannerlord Multiplayer, and as a result, my favorite Mountain Blade multiplayer mod, no, my favorite mod from Warband is finally coming to Bannerlord. I'll stop teasing it. Full Invasion is coming to Bannerlord. The Full Invasion team has made their official announcement that they were working on Full Invasion 3 for Bannerlord and has begun a closed beta to test what will become the framework and foundation of the mod, and I'm in it. For the past 2 months, they have been able to quietly test on a private server of their own thanks to the Taleworlds devs handing out the necessary files for their own testing purposes, and they've already made wonderful progress. But I know many of you may be wondering, what on this watery grave of a space rock even is Full Invasion? Some of you may also be wondering, wait, Bannerlord has multiplayer? Yes it does. We exist. It's right there. Please play. There are literally dozens of us, I swear. Full Invasion is a horde-type game mode where you and your fellow players battle ever-increasing waves of enemies, scaling in size and difficulty. And oh boy, from the test, it seems it will most definitely scale. But what makes this mod unique is that, well, it's not actually super unique. It lets you work together to survive against a seemingly never-ending onslaught of enemies from a variety of IPs. Full Invasion 2 Osiris, for example, has Mordor, Isengard, the Free Peoples of Middle-earth, Native, Crusaders, Saracens, Sigmar, Black March, Greeks, Romans, Chaos, and an actually unique Arcane faction to bring the mod to life and let you experience a variety of overwhelming, impossible odds that you and your friends barely scrape through by the skin of your teeth. Whether that be by expert kiting or the desperate use of a choke point, you can experience endless battles and sieges against overwhelming odds. And when I say sieges, I really mean sieges. This isn't native single-player, Bannerlord or Warband, where you hold a single wall as your quote-unquote siege, and get slaughtered in the castle if you fail because there's only 2 of you left. If the map has multiple layers of defense, you can actually use them. This is the mod that really got me through the many lockdowns during the early months of the pandemic, and it will always hold a special place of adoration in my heart. It's a perfect mod for those of you who don't want to play against competitive multiplayer sweat, because it instead is a cooperative experience of survival. Knowing how to effectively beat hundreds or even thousands of AI bots is a very different skill than PvP, and it is a skill that is much more easily transferred from a single player experience. There's nothing quite like that exhausted euphoria you experience when you and your teammates finally beat that one wave that nearly caused all of you to collapse. Choose your faction, the invading faction, the map, your class, your weapons, and armors. Work together with your allies and defeat wave after wave of enemies, each time edging closer and closer to defeat as you and your friends are pushed back further into the map. Or maybe you don't get pushed back. Maybe you are all doing amazing and holding halfway through the game at the front, but suddenly a boss wave comes and wipes out half your team, while the other half, probably archers, are running away, barely doing any damage. Yeah, I'm calling out you ranged players. But that is not the only reason I adore this mod. Full Invasion Osiris is also where I first learned to scene edit and design maps. After doing this for a couple years now, I can say that no other map making is quite as satisfying as making one for Full Invasion. A perfect blend of multiplayer and single-player scene editing, you need to develop a proficiency for both to make a good Full Invasion map. It takes attention to player behavior, what the player will see, how they'll react, how they'll try to exploit the map, and what route they'll take to determine what you should do to your map to change or affect player behavior to get your desired result. This allows you to deliver them a crafted experience in such a way that isn't possible with regular multiplayer maps, which generally need to be focused on how players will react against each other rather than a common foe. It also takes the scale and desire for single-player maps to the next level, as unlike in native or any mod in either game, you're fighting for more than one point. You, as the player, do have the option to retreat to another position. Fighting retreats are expected. Retaking ground between waves is part of the game, and as a scene editor, you get to determine what the experience will be, how difficult it will be, where and how the players will try to hold on, give them a sight that they'll never forget as they experience the map in much greater depth than they ever would in a single player campaign. That is why Full Invasion is such a great mod. That's why, from a scene editor's point of view, it may even be the best mod for Mount & Blade. No other mod, and very few full-fledged games, allow you to craft such an experience where you balance the life and death of those who play on your map on a thread. You can constantly keep player tension high, or give them false confidence in their position, or even go insane and deliver the players nothing but despair. No other mod lets you, as a scene editor, have such a direct impact on the player's experience as this mod. But that's enough monologuing for me. Here's some actual information from the devs that they gave during the first open beta test. So is the plan like Full Invasion 2 as it currently is with like 3 lives and then that goes down, or is it going to be like it used to be, like 1 life every other wave?
I think we're pretty undecided right now. We've got ideas, and some of those ideas might depend on, I guess, like maybe sub-game modes we could implement.
I think, yeah, we're planning on having more than just the base game mode. Like, we want to have the classic Full Invasion experience, but I think we have ideas for other game modes as well. It's nice, though, because we have a lot of control, a lot more control over basically everything that we didn't have control over in Warband. Like, we couldn't touch the AI that much in Warband, whereas in this, we can do a lot.
Yeah, you can basically tick a script on each AI, or you can run a script on each tick for every single AI agent in the game, so...
There's so many things in Warband where we're like, oh man, it would be great if we could do this. Oh, no, hard-coded, can't touch it.
And there's a lot of little influences you can have with them too, like their chance to attack you, their chance to block you, their chance to try and chamber you, things like that. So we built a model out to just sort of tune those things so they're not as ridiculous to fight against in blobs and just...
No, they killed sheep. Poe, did you say that you changed their blocking behavior?
Yes, so they block a lot less now, and they block worse. So they shouldn't have perfect blocks.
Oh, so I'm just shit. Got it.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes, that is correct.
They also, they behave in a lot more like players in a way. Like, I've seen bots jump off walls to chase you. Or sometimes they'll just slip off of them, like players.
Yeah, that's because they're just running off the nav mesh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely an average.
They follow it a lot more strictly than in Warbands, but they still, every once in a while, jump off.
Yeah, so one of the scripts I'm running on each AI that ticks every second is to check whether they're attacking you, whether their weapon has sufficient length to attack you. And then it's set for them to kind of like force follow you. So what that does is it fixes the behavior where the AI really don't want to swing on you unless they're absolutely touching you, even if they have like a pike or something. But it also has that side effect of them, following you off the nav mesh because it's overriding the default nav mesh behavior that they have.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and we have implemented the single-player armor model because in multiplayer, if you weren't already aware, there's no actual armor effect. So anything you wear has technically 0 armor. There's like preset healths for every class and stuff like that. So, and we also have a model reducing damage from bots. So right now, I think it's 60% damage reduction for both.
Yeah, we'd be dying in 2 hits if we didn't.
So for everyone,
which is how it is in Osiris too. There is damage reduction models if that wasn't.
So for everyone playing, you'll feel a lot tankier.
For somebody that asked.
So, and this is just running off my desktop, by the way. So I'm running both server and client, and things hold up pretty well.
I wasn't really, honestly, personally speaking, I was not expecting us to progress this quickly. But Poe's been doing God's work, and we've already got somewhat of a stable proof of concept.
And Maroon, if he was able to talk right now, I think he'd tell you just how much easier modding Osiris is. Or, sorry, not modding Bannerlord compared to Osiris is. So.
Oh my god.
I
Warband
took one
modding
look
is
at-
atrocious.
Yeah, you can take one look at the code in Osiris and just want to vomit from how disgusting it looks.
And if you've seen, like, I mean, like, especially if you've been following, like, the Old Worlds mod, some of the scripts that they have are freaking crazy looking. So, there's a lot more you can do in this game than you could in Warband.
I think ideally in the future we do want to take advantage of the formation system, because right now they all kind of spawn in as no formation, and you see when they spawn they kind of commit mitosis and just kind of separate from one singular point. With the formation system we could probably take advantage of like AI shooting in formation, like an archer volley almost, and then have their own shield walls and stuff like that. I guess more macro tactics for the AI to use against us.
Somebody asked, our factions going to be similar? It really depends. Similar to Osiris, that is. It really depends. We'd love to get our hands on basically anything. We could definitely handle a lot more factions because this game isn't nearly as engine limited as Warband is. Warband engine is dog shit. We definitely would love to have more factions. We want what we liked specifically about Osiris is just how fleshed out each faction was. So we want to keep that, but we want to have more. We just can't really do that yet because the assets aren't there.
I was gonna ask Poe why there weren't more nice dresses in the item selection screen.
And everything loaded in right now is just multiplayer specific.
Oh, got it.
I think we
Yeah,
could pull sandbox items and have a lot more picked to use.
I mean, right now I'm literally wearing a potato sack.
Speaking of potatoes, when are we getting our potatoes? That better be the first model.
I think it's definitely a thing. We probably don't even need to model it. I mean, there's potatoes in game, right?
Melon on a stick. Bring back the melon on a stick. We're gonna have a balloons event.
God.
Just ballista.
Okay, we're just gaslighting that into existence at this point.
Yep.
And there you have it. Full Invasion 3 will be balloons. All joking aside, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was originally like a 25-minute video after my first edit, and took me a while to cut down quite a lot of it, so it would be something digestible. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, I hope you have a really good day.